You pick up your phone. You didn't decide to. Your hand just moved. The screen lights up before you've even asked yourself why. And somewhere in the back of your mind, a small, quiet question appears. What if something happened while you weren't looking? That feeling has a name, and it is far older than any phone. But the real answer is far stranger than a notification. It starts inside a pigeon cage in the 1950s. The psychologist B.F. Skinner wanted to know what made an animal repeat a behavior. So he built a box. Inside the box, a pigeon could peck a small lever. Sometimes the peck released food. Sometimes it released nothing at all. And the pattern of reward was random, not predictable, not every time, just sometimes. Here is what Skinner found. Pigeons that got food every single time they pecked eventually stopped pecking as often. They knew what to expect, so the behavior lost its urgency. But pigeons that got food unpredictably? They pecked constantly, frantically. Some of them pecked until they collapsed from exhaustion, refusing to stop even when the food stopped coming entirely. Skinner called this a variable ratio reward schedule. It is, to this day, one of the most powerful reinforcement patterns known to behavioral science. Stronger than certainty, stronger than routine. Uncertainty itself became the drug. Now think about your phone. You don't check it because you know something good is waiting. You check it because you don't know. Maybe it's a message. Maybe it's nothing at all. Maybe it's a comment, a notification that actually matters. The outcome is random, exactly like that lever in the box. And your brain, without asking your permission, has already learned the same lesson those pigeons learned. Unpredictability isn't just tolerable to a nervous system. It's magnetic. It pulls. But there's a second piece to this puzzle, and it lives even deeper than behavior. It lives inside a single molecule. For decades, scientists believed dopamine was simply the brain's pleasure chemical, the reward itself. Eat the food, feel good, dopamine spikes. A simple story, except a neuroscientist named Wolfram Schultz ran a series of experiments that broke that story apart completely. He trained monkeys to expect a reward after a specific cue, a sound or a flash of light. Then he measured their dopamine levels, moment by moment, as the sequence played out. What he found reshaped the field of neuroscience. Dopamine didn't spike when the reward arrived. It spiked before the reward arrived. In the gap, in the waiting, in the uncertainty of not yet knowing whether the reward was actually coming. Dopamine, it turns out, isn't primarily about pleasure. It's about anticipation. It's the chemistry of maybe. And nothing manufactures maybe more efficiently, more relentlessly, than a phone screen that might, or might not, have something new on it. You feel that gap dozens of times a day. You just don't call it what it is. Why does this particular trap catch you, though? Why not something less compulsive? A book, a walk, a quiet room with nothing demanding your attention? Go back further than any laboratory. Go back to a landscape with no phones, no screens, no notifications of any kind. Your ancestors survived by paying close attention to sudden, unpredictable changes in their environment. A rustle in the grass that might be wind, or might be a predator crouched low and waiting. A silence that might mean nothing, or might mean everything had gone terribly wrong. The individuals who survived long enough to pass on their genes were, overwhelmingly, the ones whose brains treated uncertainty as urgent, not curious. Urgent. Because in that world, missing the signal could cost you your life, or the life of someone you loved. That wiring never left you. It just lost its predators and gained a pocket-sized replacement. Every buzz, every red dot, every unopened message taps directly into a warning system built for the savannah, not for a lock screen sitting quietly on a kitchen counter. Your phone didn't create this instinct from nothing. It simply found the oldest alarm button in your brain and learned, with remarkable precision, exactly how hard to press it. There's a second ancient behavior hiding underneath the checking itself, And this one comes not from danger, but from food. Anthropologists studying hunter-gatherer societies, including long-term fieldwork among groups like the Hadza of Tanzania, have documented what's known as patch foraging. A forager doesn't know in advance which bush holds berries and which one is empty. There's no way to tell from a distance, so the only strategy that works is checking. Moving from patch to patch, sampling, checking again, because the reward is scattered unpredictably across the landscape, rather than sitting in one obvious, guaranteed place. That foraging pattern isn't just a survival tactic. It's a template stamped into how your attention naturally moves